So, welcome to the complete series of making SaaS with AI. SaaS is basically a software as a service website which has authentication, payments, some sort of database, a feature, some API calls, and everything is combined into one application. So, we'll see how can we make a SaaS application with AI. This is a complete series where you learn front end, back end, database, how to connect everything, how to deploy things, GitHub, and how to use those, all sorts of AI tools. So I have covered all the basic tools is in another video, but we'll mainly using Lovable Bolt. For front end, we will be using any React framework. So you can use Vue.js, Next.js, Svelte, anything of that sort. For backend, we will be using Supabase and Firebase. I'll show you how to use that. Same is for database, Supabase and Firebase. Superbase and Firebase are just simple serverless backends. They give you everything that you need in order to build. So this is Superbase. You have authentication systems, Postgres database. Don't worry about what is Postgres or SQL, no SQL. You have APIs, you have real-time database. So if you want to build collaborative tools, and I'll also show you how you can pretty much learn how to make anything on the planet using just ChatGPT. So, for example, starting with the basic is that if you have an idea, how do you find out the right tools that you need to build that idea? So, first point is I want to make a Google Docs like app. Give me the tools to make it. So there's a very simple exercise that I do. So I can use Grok, you can use Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT. You can use all these tools, and this is the first part of making any application. So this has started making it, but this is not what we wanted. We want just the tools, right? So what we will do is just give me list down the libraries that we need to make this, and it will give you that. So front end, you see React, we will use. Back end, we can use anything. You will see that we also need WebSocket, which is some sort of collaborative tool that we need, real-time data synchronization that we need. We need some authentication, we need some file storage, we need some real-time collaboration, we need some deployment optional, all these things. So now the first step is to know exactly which tools you're using. And now once you start making these SaaS applications with a tool like Bolt, Lovable, all these things, it becomes very easy to sort of make these and plan these things. But if you don't know exactly what you want and you just start on Bolt and say, okay, make me a Google Doc like tool or collaborative tool, you are going to end up in a bad position. So again, this is part one, that before starting your idea, list down exactly the libraries that you want, exactly the things that you want, exactly the tech stack that you want, and exactly the database that you want. So this is the part one. So in the second video, I'll show you how to actually create those docs, and we will feed those documentation into this. So we will start with a very simple landing page, then we will look at a little bit complicated example of a directory, and then we will look at uh, let me make some examples that we are going to look at. So first will be landing page, second will be directory with Google Sheets, you will see. Third will be directory app with Supabase. Then we will add authentication, and finally we will make uh, add payments with Stripe, and then we will deploy. We will deploy all these, but we will make digital info page with payments. We can just add authentication to the directory, and then finally we will see a link in bio app that you can make and monetize. So this can be a very nice SaaS for you that you can launch. So these are sort of the examples that we will look at in this whole series, and you can learn a lot. If you have any questions, you can DM me in the community. But yeah, let's move forward and let's learn everything. So let's look at some of the landing pages now. I've already given a brief introduction on what sort of tools there are: Lovable, Bold, Windsurf, Cursor, all these tools. Some of the tools are good for online coding, some of the tools are good for IDs. Those are IDs, so you can download them and use it locally, just like VS Code. So that is mostly for coders, but we are not going to code anything. We are making everything with AI. So let's go to Bolt. A quick hack or quick intro for Bolt is again a simple tool where you can just prompt anything and it will make you landing pages, SaaS, whatever you want. And it already has integrations with Supabase, right? Secondly, it introduced a new integration with GitHub. So GitHub is a place where you store your code. It is a very simple introduction. There's nothing more complicated. If you're not a coder, you don't need to understand everything about GitHub is just a place to store your code, and we will connect this code to Vercel.com, where this code will be deployed. So things like this. So we can deploy a project, and then we can see the production, and we can change the settings and the domain and everything. So this is how we will connect. So let's make a landing page. Let's do a live example. Let's make a landing page. I will show you the hacks as to how to make a better landing page. First is, you can look at landing page designs anywhere on the planet. You like Drizzle, you like Webflow, you like Framer, you like Pinterest, doesn't matter. And let's say you want to copy that. So what we can do is we can take a screenshot. Okay, let's take a screenshot. How do you take a screenshot? uh, I will have to see how you take a screenshot in Windows, but let's copy this image, and we will insert the image, and we will say make a landing page like this for AI tutor for kids, and it will start making. So this is a very simple hack for landing page. You can copy paste any design. You just copy this, you take a screenshot, put it in Bold, put it in Lovable, and you will get a landing page. Now this prompting is actually bad, and I will tell you why. Because you need to be a very good prompt engineer. The number one rule for being a good AI engineer, or as I would say, using AI tools to making things, is you need prompting hacks. First hack is that you need to ask for clarifying questions. Second is, you need to define the output. I will tell you exactly what these means. Third is, you need to give context or examples, just like the screenshot we gave. Fourth is, define the tech stack or tools that you want to use. Otherwise, you are giving the whole 100% control to the AI, and it will use whatever it wants. It will use any theme, it will use anything that it likes. You don't want to do that. Here we gave an example, so it will use that. But if you don't want to give the example, then you need to be very careful that you have to define the tech stack or the tools. And the fifth is ask for clear changes. So this is actually a very important uh, hack that you will see why I'm saying ask for clear changes. Because when you are using an ID or an AI tool, and you are 10 prompts deep, and you want to make something, you want to change something, let's say you want to change a text, you have to be very very clear that only change this thing and don't change other things. I've made hundreds of applications by now, and I'm telling you, once you are 15 or 20 prompts deep, you want to use this step and say, okay, please change these two headers only, don't make any other change, ask me any clarifying question. So every prompt needs to have ask me any clarifying question. Every prompt should tell exactly the changes, and every prompt should say don't make any additional change without asking me. So these are very small tips which go a long way. Once you're coding with AI, it's very important to understand that AI has 100% control if you're not giving it anything. So we will wait for the landing page to build. But again, simple tip for building landing pages. Second tip for building landing pages is, let's say you have a resume and you want to make a personal portfolio. You can just go to Overleaf, you can copy this image, or you can download a PDF and you can upload the PDF. That is also possible. So that is the second tip. If you want to make a personal portfolio, download it, go to Lovable or Bold, you'll be able to make it. Third tip I'm giving you, very very important tip I'm giving you, is to go to Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT, or any other LLM. Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, four tools. May say I want to make a landing page for my agency. My agency offers marketing services for busy founders, busy creators, right? We help them in, and let me show you. I have a doc open. Let me open that doc and show you that what I am saying over here. So let's make a real time, we'll make this whole thing. And I wanted to make this actually for founders. So Grok, we help them by offering three things. Okay, first is, see, the prompt has to be very detailed, right? You spend your time, the maximum time has to go in writing prompts, because that's the only thing you're doing. You're only writing English. And you see, you have a landing page, my friend, and this is a beautiful landing page that you have over here. So look at this. This is a beautiful landing page that you have. It is exactly that, similar to what we said, showed it a single prompt, right? Just one prompt, and you have a beautiful landing page. So this is a top hack that I have given you. Use images, use these hacks that I'm giving you, and you will have beautiful landing pages. We are going to deploy it in 1 second, but we are going to make another one in just a moment for my agency that I'm starting. So, and I'll show you even a better hack. So we help them. Let's go back to this. We want to make a landing page for my marketing agency, right? My agency offers marketing service for busy creators. We help them by offering three things: create better landing pages and funnels. Second is run ads or organic marketing consultation, right? And the third is going to be and the third is going to be helping them make funnels. Oh, that I already mentioned that. So I can say helping them make additional income streams. Okay, give me a high selling, give me the components of a high selling landing page for this, and this will give me a high selling landing page detail. It's making the HTML, but we did not want that. So what we will say is, see, sometimes we still are making mistakes, right? Just give me a doc of all the components. So this is the first way to make it. Second way is that what we can do is we can just go to Bolt, and what we will do is we will use an enhanced prompt feature. This is again a very nice feature most people miss. So we will say make a high converting landing page for them, and we will use enhanced prompt. So this is a second way. First way is to make this complete doc. We will share this doc to Bolt, and the Bolt will make something. Second is to use the enhanced feature, and we click go, and it will make something for us. But again, this does not have a theme, this does not have a font, this does not have an example, this does not have any context. So we have given AI the whole power to make this. So again, it will make something from its knowledge base, from its whole ecosystem. We don't know exactly what it's going to make. So there's some sort of black box thing going on, right? We don't want that black box thing. So what we want is to give an example. If you have an example, go spend time on Drizzle, go spend time somewhere, find a landing page for marketing, for agency, find some uh, some example that you can put. So let's find an example, and you will see three different ways to make a landing page, and you will pretty much learn how to make high selling converting landing page. It's very easy. And then finally we will deploy it and see how to finish everything. So let's do agency. Okay, so we have some very good agency landing pages. Let's do, this is very nice, some retro style. This is a good one. So let's open another bolt window, and then let's paste this photo. We are going to paste the photo, and we are going to paste this. Make the landing page for this with reference to the image attached. So now it will make something very, very beautiful for us. So see, we have made a kids learning place. We are making a landing page for my agency from a very nice prompt. And third is we are using a good prompt and an image, and you will see beautiful results from this. I want you to go try it yourself. Once you try it, you will see that there is lot to learn, and you will see amazing, amazing results. Now let's come to the GitHub part. So you should go in integrations, go to GitHub, and then you need to log into GitHub. Once you log in, you will be able to connect this to GitHub. So authorize tag blitz. Once you authorize it, you will see that the GitHub is connected in a moment. And then, okay, we just logged in, and it says that we need to log in again. So there's probably some sort of error happening. Let's refresh and see if that helps. It is saying that we don't have the access to this, so there's probably some sort of error going on. But yeah, we'll see in a moment that what is happening with GitHub. Even if the integration doesn't work, uploading to GitHub is very, very easy. We will cover it in a simple episode of how to take your projects from local storage to the GitHub. You can download the code. Actually, you don't even need the integration. You can download the code, and it is very easily possible from there. So I'll let these two finish, and we will cover this in the next episode. But hopefully you understand how to make landing pages. We've made 3, 4, 5 landing pages. You should make one for your portfolio, make one for any landing page, any design agency. Use this trick of having a detailed doc and then putting this in the prompt for bold and lovable. And finally, use images from Drizzle. Those are 100 times better than just giving a black box thing to the AI. So hopefully you like this. So let's go. So we looked at landing pages, but now we're going to look at authentication and database. But before that, there's a lot of faceless videos going on, and some people just use Etsy to buy templates and they use it directly. But anyways, let's come to authentication and database. We will be using Superbase for that. And if you don't know how to code, or if you don't know anything about coding, you should probably look at the other series of course which is on authentication. But Superbase and Firebase both offer authentication and database related things. So right, it's like a black box which gives you both authentication and database. So we will be looking at that. You should go check out the documentation. Basically it's like a table like structure. Database, you can say it's a table like structure. There are other kinds of databases where you have object style things, so you store it in a JSON. But we will be talking that in another video. But you can see you have a database here which is just like a table. So there's a Postgres database that Superbase offers, and we can just simply use it. So for example, you have a directory based application. You want to show list of AI apps in a directory. You want to show a jobs. You want to make a job board. So we can simply make a job board in Lovable. We will say make a job board for remote jobs in the USA, and we can say connect a Google Sheet for this. So, okay, let's sign in. Actually, we are not signed in. Let's use GitHub if possible, so that we don't have to connect. So once you're signed in, we can easily use it. But yeah, we can also use Bolt, and you can see I made this landing page in the last video, limited time offer, and all these very, very nice things. Let's connect GitHub. So for any sort of directory, you can use Google Sheets. And to make a Google Sheet, you can just make a new form. You go to forms.new, you make a new form, and once you have the form, you can connect to the sheets here. So you will get a sheet automatically. So for a job, we need the job title, right? as a short answer, you need a description, you need prerequisites, all sorts of things. And once you're done with this, okay, why is this not working? Once you're done with this, you can provide the sheet to Lovable directly, and Lovable will be able to sync that sheet with the database. So that's a very simple way of making it. So that's step one of making any application, is that you can connect a Google Sheet as the database. We will also see Superbase and other things, but yeah, let's see connect a Google Sheet for this, and then we can just enter. So you will see that you will be able to make a directory based application. So I do think you should do this on yourself, try it out, and integrate a Google Sheet. Once this is done, I'm going to show you the real example. You can do the same with Bolt, and there are many different applications that you can make. You can make directories, you can make job boards, you can make any, your portfolio website, all the other things. You can also have a form, let's say a lead generation form. You put it on a social media. You can collect the things in sheets and then make a dashboard for it. So again, very very easy. Just provide the sheet and it will make it. You don't have to worry about the Sheets API, Google API, any sort of those things. So this is the easiest way to make a directory, which is using Google Sheets. You go to Bolt or Lovable, connect Google Sheets, and you're good to go. In the next video, we will see authentication. We will connect Superbase, we will see authentication, and then we will see finally database. So let's integrate Superbase, and we saw how you can simply use Google Sheets for most of your applications. So any sort of mentorship dashboard or database system or directory that you're making, you can start with uh, Google Sheet. And by the way, levels.fi was built on Google Sheets in the earlier days. If you see, so all this database that you're seeing, all these data that all the data points that you're seeing, all of that was built with a Google Sheet. So it was, nothing too complicated. You can just plug and play Google Sheet with the front end, as I showed you in Lovable or Bolt, and you will be able to make a project. So let's start with Superbase. So Superbase is a serverless architecture or serverless database, serverless backend system that is provided to us. There is authentication, database, storage, real-time edge functions, all these things. We'll go over edge functions later, but mainly these are the three things that are important. So storage is important. Let's say you're building something with file systems, images, videos. You want to store those. Authentication is the user login, password, all that stuff. And there are many other alternatives. So there is Nextauth, there's ClerkDev, which a lot of people will use. ClerkDev is very, very nice, authentication and user management. And there are other things as well. So database also is there, which is a full Postgres database. So one really important tip that I give all the developers is that if you don't know anything, what you can do is either you can print all of this into a PDF and upload the PDF to Grok or Gemini, or you should just ask. If you don't know anything about Postgres database, you can ask, explain me Postgres database as a complete beginner. Another tip here is that if you go to v0.dev, v0.dev is very nice with UI uh, explanation. So you can say, explain me Postgres database as a complete beginner visually, right? So it will make something visually for you, and it's very very intuitive and very easy to learn. So see, let's go over Postgres. So database is a place to store data in a structured way. Why Postgres is a popular? Because it's reliable, flexible. That is all you need to know. It has some table, column, rows. It has some SQL type structure that which you use to talk. Structured query language, as we use SQL to talk to it. So let's say you want to find something, insert something, update something, delete something. You want to use SQL, the query language, to talk to it. And then how does it work, and core features, and how you can install, and then all this blah blah blah. So you don't need to go into detail. We can just know that it's a table like structure, and we will use SQL to find it. All the AI LLMs are very nice, very very popular. SQL is very popular with all the LLMs, so you don't have to worry about anything, and you will be able to write uh, SQL code just by using any LLM. So you can go to Grok or Gemini and just say that I want to find this, give me the SQL script, it will give you. So see, this is a nice visualization on V0, PostgreSQL database for complete beginner. What is a database? Database structure. Then you have table structure with rows and columns, table visualization, then relationship with tables. How do you make a relationship? You have some sort of link. So every user has a place or some sort of ID that is linked. So user ID is a foreign key that is reference. So user ID is a foreign key here, which is a reference in the ID that references the ID. So it is connected with the foreign key. And then you have basic database operations, you have data flows, Postgres versus spreadsheets. You can see what is the difference, and then getting started, and then you can query and all these source, and they have sources as well. So you can go to Vercel, full stack app with Next.js, Prisma, Postgres. That's also a very nice thing that you can check out. So this is basically the definition. We don't really care about the definition because we are just using AI. So what we will do is we will start a livable application, and we will say make a simple to-do app where the user, or let's make a link in bio app, make a link in bio app where the user can log in and see their links for their page. We want to add Superbase to this. A little hack, what I do is I use Lovable, but you can go to Bolt and you can use the enhance prompt tool, and it will give you a better prompt. And that's the easiest way to do it. But then, I've also taught you the best way to do is to have all these 5 6 docs. So that is a lovable, that is vibe coding, advanced vibe coding that you should know. But let's go ahead and click publish or start, and it will start. So what we will do is we will have to set up Superbase here. So we will log in into the Superbase. Oh, sorry about that. We will log into the Superbase system, and you will see that you have multiple projects, you have other things that are happening here. So we can set up a new project, and you'll see how that happens within the lovable ecosystem. It's very very easy. And then we will also set up the authentication. For authentication, we just have to turn on a few things. So let's say you're using GitHub login, Notion login, X Twitter login, LinkedIn login, Google login. You just have to do a few things, and then just you know uh, press some buttons, and it will just work. So while this is happening, I'll show you some alternatives for Superbase that you can also try. One is Firebase. You can check out Firebase. It's again by Google, one of the top companies in this whole space. And there's Firebase Studio, which comes with the uh, Firebase Studio comes with Firebase and Gemini integrated, so you can easily make that. And then Firebase is exactly like Superbase. I mean, Superbase is an open source alternative to Firebase, and it is a pretty nice offering. So they also have all these things. So even for Flutter, Google Ads, you can easily integrate for anything. And then all these different things that you can see. So again, these are easy solutions. You don't have to write any authentication code. You don't have to write any custom database code or make a database and all these things which people used to do 5 years back or 10 years back. You could just have to plug and play, and if you know how to plug and play, you can make SaaS tools easily. So yeah, we're still waiting on this. I think this is a pretty big thing that we've written, but good example to have here. Second is that let's go to while this finishes up, we will go to the Firebase or the Firebase Studio. Let's take a look at Firebase Studio. It's not as good as Lovable or Bolt, to be honest, but it does the job. It is, I think, the Google's answer to all of this. So we can say make a to do app with Firebase, and let's say what it does. Okay, reach out. We are not able to do this. That came up suddenly. I don't know why, but yeah, we'll be able to see that what Firebase Studio does, and it just makes these tasks. And let's prototype this. So let's see what tech stack, and we have given all the uh, power to the AI to choose any tech stack. It's using Google AI for some reason. I don't know why we are not using AI in this. Oh, maybe they added smart suggestions, so AI to suggest subtasks for larger tasks, and they have AI integrated without even asking. So that's good. There's AI in everything these days, so that is not a bad thing. So yeah, we'll go. This is a small example that I gave you, but yeah, we'll come back to this. It's still writing. So okay, once this is over, we will continue this in the next video, and I'll show you how to integrate Superbase into Lovable and authentication systems, database, all the good stuff. And yeah. So that was a Superbase introduction, but let's go through some more Superbase related things. So once you go inside Superbase, this is again a serverless backend, very similar to Firebase. And if you go to studio.firebase, you'll see a lot of things happening. This is Firebase Studio, but you need to go to Firebase console to see that it's basically a mix of a lot of different things that you can make. So this has a database, you can authenticate your application. You don't have to write a lot of backend code that was needed back in the day. So if you're looking to build things very fast, so let's say you're building a SaaS tool, you just need the exact features and you don't care about authentication or scaling. For now you can use this. Storage and authentication are the two most used, and then they also have some other things. So they have a real-time database, they have analytics that you can implement real-time analytics. Let's say you're building a analytical tool, you probably build this, include this. They have hostings, they have functions, Firebase functions that you can run in the cloud, which run all the time. And these are very specific use cases that you will learn as you go, but Superbase and Firebase basically are for authentication and database for the most part. So Lovable has an existing uh, integration here, so you can just click on Superbase. So this is just a landing page that I have, but let's say if I want to pull all these things from a Superbase database, so what I would do is I would integrate Superbase. I would connect to Superbase. I would connect a new project, and you can connect your GitHub first or connect Superbase. Make an account on Superbase through GitHub and then connect this, and then you will have to connect a project, and very easily you will see that the Superbase is connected. The good thing about Lovable is that you can actually add the database here as well. So you can just say, okay, I need to pull posts about me, projects, experience, everything from a database rather than just doing static data, and it will make a Superbase table for that. So let's just see if we can connect a portfolio, and you can generate a password. Let's create a new project. This will take a few minutes, and then you will have portfolio. So let's connect this, and then after a few minutes you will see that you can just prompt and you will connect a database. So basically what is happening behind the scenes is, if you go to database.new or Superbase, you can see, I'll just show you inside portfolio that you have a table editor, that you can see there are different tables. You have a SQL editor. So SQL is what is used behind the scenes for creating all of this. So SQL commands will be used to create these tables. So create table XYZ, create relations XYZ, and I'll show you exactly what is happening behind the scenes. But you don't really, if you don't know coding, then you don't really care about all these things. You can skip this. But what is happening is there's SQL code written, and there's a Postgres database, I think, which is one type of database that is being created. So you have different tables for different things. So you will have a user table, you will have a project table, you will have an experience table, things like that, for example. Then you have authentication. So you will be able to see which users have authenticated. We will be adding authentication again, very, very easy. And if we go back, we will see that, okay, this was connected. And what we can do is add table for the user and pull user data instead of static data. So what we can say is projects, experience, about me, and everything else. We will then implement authentication, right? So what we are building is, we are basically converting a portfolio app into a generic portfolio, a SaaS portfolio builder. This is a SaaS, it's a portfolio builder. You pay $9 to build a portfolio, and then we can provide templates. So anything, basically the flow of building a SaaS is very common. You have authentication database of some sort, and then you have payments. So you invite the user to pay for something, and then you basically have features and different features that the user pays for. So if you see on the left side, what is happening is these are SQL commands that are written. So it is creating a table for projects, it is creating a table for profiles, it is creating all these things. and you can click apply changes, and what will happen is it will run the SQL code. So inside SQL editor, Lovable is doing the work for you instead of yourself. So that will run these SQL commands. You can also make these SQL commands yourself. If you know how to write SQL, it's not that hard. You are just making tables and you're just adding items inside the tables. So again, these are, you see that the tables were added. See, project, skills, profile, experiences, tables were added. And we did not need tables for this, to be honest, because this is very small, and you can also store it in like a very simple object. If you are not using this Superbase or SQL, you can just use some object, or if you're using MongoDB, it's a different. So there are different types of databases. So sometimes you will store things in an object manner, sometimes you will have a table. Every database has a different purpose. Let's not get into that. For the most part, if you don't reach 50,000 active users or 10,000 active users, you should not care about databases. You are going to be fine, with pretty much all sorts of databases. So for now, anything is fine, but as you scale, maybe reading from the database is something that you need, which should be much faster. So you need to optimize for reading. Sometimes you might optimize for writing. So there are different use cases for different things, but for the most part, this is going to be fine. So again, so this will update the components of fetch data. So if we go in the code, what will happen is it is connecting to the Supabase instead of just a random text over here, and it will pull data from the database. So this is again very, very simple examples. It will just fill something here and have that thing. So again, super easy example. And secondly, what we can do is we can also add authentication the very same way. We can say add authentication, Google sign in, or go simple login box, and it will just add authentication as we go. So again, very, very easy. This has created the things for us. It created data fetching hooks. It updated all the document components, and all these automatically display. So if we refresh this, so we don't see anything inside this, which is surprising. But we need to see, okay, where's the data getting pulled from? Include fallback data when no database record exists. So we need to add something in the database, and the build there was a build error as well. So what we can do is I can show you the complete example with another website, but for now, let's go back. How do we go back to code? Dev mode. Okay, dev mode is in which you code, but you get the point of how to integrate Superbase. This was a bad example, but we will go through some very good examples. So when you begin a project, it's a very important to think about the databases. It's very important to think about all the libraries you are going to use and the future of your SaaS, so that what is that one feature. So let's, in the next video, I'm going to, a simple homework can be like you implement authentication. I'm going to show you how to implement authentication in the next video, but you can also try it yourself. And then we will build a simple portfolio builder for a new user, and we will include authentication, everything. And I will show you how to actually write a very good prompt, and we can use many different tools for that. And you can also just use a super prompt from ChatGPT. So again, very simple. Before showing you the authentication, let me show you some personal examples that I've been using Lovable for, and you will see that you have to write hundreds of prompts in one project. So, and I'm not joking. So on the left side, you can see how far back I'm scrolling. And this is what I wanted to make. So this was one of the products I made, which is basically you upload your resume, we parse the resume, we analyze it, we get some results, and then the user basically gets all these four things with their resume. So they get analyzed resume, they get outreach templates, they get LinkedIn job matching, whatever, cover letter, all these things. So first of all, you see that the landing page is very beautiful. So you can be very creative with landing pages. I've made videos on landing page, but a good example can be you provide it screenshots, you give it theme, you give it some examples, you tell it exactly what you want in a component. So let's say before and after, you can tell it to be more creative, more luxury looking, more think more clearly, and it will do a much better job. So first prompt was that I want to make a new website 10x your job search. I provided what the user will add, and then I provided what the output will be. And then I said, make a nice creative UI, integrate Supabase, use AI to parse a resume, use custom prompts. So I gave it a lot of information in the beginning. What I should have done is made this prompt a little bit better by saying, ask me if you have any clarifying questions. And this is a database model that I am sort of thinking about. And what I can also do is, I can take the initial thing and I can go to Grok or ChatGPT and I can say, give me the database model that should be used for this. And I can go through that database model. You don't have to know the coding, but what you can do is you can sort of think, you know, as a basic thing that, okay, you need users, you need all these inputs and whatever. And even if you don't know anything here, this is probably going to work. That is the assumption that most people make, even if they know coding, and they try to fix it later on. So you definitely should add some sort of database thing in the beginning, and you can generate it with any LLM. Or if you don't, then Lovable will do it for you. So this was one of the products, again completely built by Lovable, and you can see on the left that I fixed the things, I added things, and then I fixed things, I provided some context here and there, and we eventually built something where you have a login, you log in, and then you have things that you can do. Second project was, I was trying to make something with video. This was made with Remotion. I was trying to use Remotion. So Lovable and all these things have a lot of different libraries. You can make little games. You can make money mind games. You can make video related tools. You can make AI tools, slideshows, presentations, lots and lots of things. So the possibilities are endless. You can make Chrome extensions. You can make Shopify apps, WordPress plugins. Anything you name it can be built. The third thing I wanted to show you is portfolio pill that I made, which is a set of 10 portfolio templates. So these are very, very nice templates. All of them are built by Lovable. You can make this, sell it for 25, 35, 45, and people will like to use it. So you can give this code if somebody wants to build a portfolio like Netflix, Spotify, e-commerce, Amazon. They can take the code and tweak it according to their own thing. And then you can also build this into a no code builder, which is not that hard to do. So you can make a no code builder. People want to make their portfolio, again they can use this. And look at these, more than 50 prompts, more than 60 prompts, more than 100 prompts in each of these projects, as you can see. So prompting is definitely a skill. You have to keep going, you have to do it until you finish it, and that is basically how you end up making some projects. So Lovable also has a showcase. If you go down, you'll see a lot of people are showcasing their products and what they're building, and this is one of the very nice landing pages that I saw. So again, very, very nice. And you can see such a nice landing page that somebody has made. So you can remix it. But yeah, what I wanted to say is possibilities are endless, and let's look at authentication in the next video. So now you have authentication in Supabase. Again, Supabase, Firebase, very easy to authenticate. They provide you all sorts of things from the ground up. You don't have to write anything inside cookies or sessions or whatever, and then you just have these functions provided that you can directly plug in place. So log in, sign up, sign out, session, all these things. So first of all, go through the policy. So inside Supabase, you can check some policies. So policies are again very, very important so that you don't leak any data outside. So things like anybody can view profile, users can insert their own profile, users can update their own profile. If you make this open, anybody would be able to update through network call. So we don't want to do that. Second is you can sign in through multiple different things. So you can have Web3 wallet, Solana. You can integrate Solana now, which is nice. You can do Facebook login, GitHub login, which is in a lot of apps. You can do Notion, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is common, Twitter is common, and then Google is obviously very common, and email, phone is very, very common. So if you want Google login, you need to enable it here. That is point one. If you just want email password, then it's already enabled for you. Second, you have some refresh tokens. Don't really have to get into this, but uh, sometimes you will need it. Let's say you're building something where you don't want the user to be there for a long time. Let's say you're building something in finance or banks where you really care about user sessions, then you probably need this. Rate limiting is again too much traffic or too many tries from the user. So let's say they're trying hundreds of times to log in, and then your calls, API calls are going, really crazy. So you can put rate limiting. So again, all of this is provided by Superbase. You don't have to write any code. You can just change it, and you will be able to, save your API costs. You can send emails. So let's say you have a magic link, email address, reauthentication, all these things, very, very easy. Just change your email and everything is handled behind the scenes. Attack protection is there, capture protection if you want. Let's say a bot is trying to attack you and then you need capture, though that's a good one. And then in advance, you have some request duration, all these different things that you can check out. So again, we solved the bug. What we can do is uh, let's add Superbase authentication with a simple sign up and login form. Uh, so yeah, you can just do this and you'll be able to see that it adds the authentication. You'll be able to see the users in this. You will be able to see a table. I think if they make a table, you'll be able to see a table. And so again, it's very, very, it's just plug and play for the basics. There are a few things you need to do if you have, let's say, manager or role related auth. So let's say you have a restaurant app, you have manager, you have student, you have a customer, then you have a cashier, then you have a server. So you have four different roles. An app only should see, the user should only see things that they are assigned, or the things that they should only see the things that they are meant to see. So let's say a cashier should only see what the user ordered, manager should see everything. So those are user auth related things, and you need to implement those initially. Otherwise, if once the app gets complicated, it's hard to write those things. So again, you should be very clear in the beginning. If you have those things, make sure that you're adding and writing it in detail. So see, some of the things that you'll see here is that there's an auth context, there's a form, there's a page, there's a button, all these different things, and it added an email password. See, and there's a sign in button. You need to sign up and then sign in, and then all these things. So you can also add Google sign in. You can also go to, let's refresh everything, and we will go to authentication. There's no user. Let's try to sign in. ASD 123. ASD is invalid, so maybe there's some sort of a validation that it already added for you. Account created, so we need to go to our account. It's enter an email, and we need to check that, okay, is there an email from Superbase, and we need to verify it. So let's see, where is the email? Superbase auth. Let's confirm the email, and I think we should be able to sign in. And let's see if we can sign in. So yeah, we are able to sign in. So see, it just pulled up some data, or had some rough data. But yeah, you see two free credits remaining. You need to upgrade. But yeah, we are done with authentication. That's a good thing. And once we go in here, you'll be able to see that there's one authenticated user. So again, building SaaS has become very easy, and now even for payments, it's not that hard. Payments is a combination of webhooks and using Stripe or Razorpay and all these things. So again, not a hard thing to do, but yeah, most of it is done. Payments is left, and then we'll be building some projects. So happy to share all this information. So you've seen landing pages, you've seen directories, I've shown you Google Sheets integration, and the same goes with Bolt. So Superbase, oh sorry, Lovable and Bolt are basically the same thing. There are a couple of differences, and I'm going to also show you Cursor and Windsurf. And Windsurf, you can see that both of them have their own specialities, and these blogs are old, but I would suggest that start using Windsurf because it has some debugging capabilities. So I'm going to give you some very nice demos on windsurf as well. So again, very very nice. And overall, again, both of these tools are very nice. What I would suggest and what I wanted to talk in this video is some tricks or some hacks so that you can save on these credits, because both of these tools are a little bit expensive. You get 26 million tokens, uh, which is actually pretty crazy, and even 10 million tokens are a lot. But definitely you will run out of credits if you are building a lot of things. So let's say we want to make a mobile application, which is also possible with Bolt. You can make a blog application. I made tons of blog applications that you can make. You can use Astro for blogs, which is a simple, very very nice web framework for content websites. So let's say you're building a huge blog directory, or if you're building something where you want to optimize for speed, you want to have a separate blog website, separate docs website, separate course website, all these different things, and you will have something like this. So again, very very nice integration of Astro with this, and you will be able to see that okay, you have all these projects, you have a simple layout, and in post you will be able to see that you can just have a MD file, markdown file, and you'll be able to make a blog. You can have authentication, payments, all these things behind the scenes, and then just offer something like Byte Go. So Byte Go is an example of this. Technical prep, all these are just blogs, very nicely made, have very nice things, and then you can basically have this in Astro. Again, you probably need a lot of distribution and awesome content to sell this, but you can basically see what I'm talking about. So again, oh, they have a coding editor as well, so this is nice. If you want to have something with Python, if you want to have a different backend, let's say Flask or something, I like to use Windsurf for that. So let's say if you are building a video editing thing, if you're building something where you need Judge Zero, where you need something else for the backend, I think that would be a more likely solution. So let's say if I say Judge Zero Next.js, do I find anything? So there are people who are talking about it, Judge Zero and online compiler. So something like this, if you want to make an online compiler, so again, anything is possible. So we can also make something very very complicated if you want to. So let's say we want to make a simple video editor where you want to clip videos into smaller things, or you want to add backend, or if you want to add a background, if you want to add some meme related backgrounds, you can easily do that. And I can actually show you how to actually do it. So let me open up this project that I already have running. Everything is again vibe coded. I have not written a single piece of code over here. So this is a video editor. I have simple backgrounds, I have simple green screens or some memes, and you can just edit your text. You can edit the basically the size, and then you can say something like when the client asks for this, and choose this, and if you hit create, it should create something for you. If it doesn't, then there's probably a bug here, but yeah, this was created. The text is small, but you can download, you can create another one. So you can see that basic things are possible, but there are issues when you try to perfect this. So for example, if you're trying to make this 100% usable, then you really need to boil down and okay, the text is small, how do we fix those bugs? And that is when the real vibe coding comes into place. So let's say we are doing green screen plus background, the background doesn't show here, so how do we change it? Or if we want to add a separate background. So again, this is a small example that I was trying to make a video editor. I'm not super interested in this, but yeah, this could be something that you can make. Another thing is that you can try Replicate. So Replicate has a lot of these awesome AI APIs that you can use. And let's say you want to make a thumbnail generator, you want to make ads generator, you want to make all these awesome things, you can basically use a Replicate API. API is just a simple call that you make, and you get you are returned with a response. So it is as easy as just you don't even need to know what an API is. You can just tell Bolt to do it, and it will just ask for the key. Provide the key from the dashboard, from your dashboard. Go to the section and provide the key, and you'll be able to make it. So very, very easy. And you can also go to Bolt and say, okay, make a thumbnail generator for me, make an AI thumbnail generator for me, add Stripe for payments, Superbase for auth and DB, and then connect a replicate AI API for making the thumbnail. And then you can tell it to add the link as well. So we will copy this. If you enhance the prompt, you'll be able to see that it enhances everything, and you'll be able to see that you can basically pretty much build anything that you want. So okay, we'll build this, no big deal, and we'll see how fast we can build this. And I can use this as a sample for a detailed portfolio, a detailed project in some of the next videos. But yeah, what I wanted to share is you can basically build anything and everything that you want. Sky's the limit. Now let's see that if you want to integrate different libraries, how do you do that? So there are hundreds of different libraries on the internet that you might want to integrate into your app. So let's say something like a resume parsing API. You want to make a resume parser. You need a resume parsing API. You need a PDF parsing API. You need restaurant restaurant data for my app. So there are two or three ways to do this. One is that you have existing data that is available on the internet. This is through API, and we will call this API. So let's go to Grok and see explain API like a 15-year-old. So we get to a 15-year-old. So API is application programming interface. It's a very, very basic term, and moreover, it's the crux of APIs. It's easier for apps to share information or features without revealing how they're built. So you get a stream of data. We will catch this data. We will show this on our application. So a quick example could be that let's see some restaurant data. So we will write restaurant API, and you can see there's Yelp API, there's many different APIs here. So Rapid API is again another thing that where you can find all these different APIs. So let's take an example of Yelp API. So now the thing is that you need an API key in order to access this data. Sometimes the data is free, sometimes the data is paid, but we will need access to this data somehow. So you need an API key for that. And secondly, if there is pricing, then you need to see, okay, how much is the pricing, and you need to go over whatever the pricing model is. But what will happen is it's a very, very basic integration, and every API is sort of different, and you have to go through documentation depending on what you want to make. So the same is going to be, for example, hotels API. You want to build something with hotels, you know this. Another hack is to just go on Grok and say, okay, what is a free restaurant API that I can integrate in my app? This will find and give you this will do some research, and this will find and give you some meal DB API, and you can go check what's the meal DB, and you can get the free API over here. So this is very, very easy. You can see how this is returned. So API always returns you a JSON format, and what will happen is in the code we will uh, basically take out things from this. So we will destructure it, and we will take out the meals will be in an array is basically a data structure which holds a lot of different things. It's a list, and then in the list there is one object for meal or for restaurant. So this is spicy arabia the penne. I think this is for meals instead of restaurant, but these are the instructions, and then there is a thumbnail, there's a YouTube video, all these different things. So you can use this as a sample for searching Arabiata. If you don't search, and if you do this, okay, that is forbidden. But let's say what is uh, by first letter, if you do, so we can go and check first letter, and you'll see that this is returned. So we will basically use this. And how do we use this? We just call this API. So again, you don't have to get in the code. We will do the same. We will go to bolt lovable and put this mealdb.api, and then you can just put in the API key in .env. So storing API keys is actually another thing. So I'm going to give you a brief example later on how to do this with a detailed in a detailed way, that you have to store API keys in a secure way. You can't reveal your API key because others can use it. Second is, when you deploy your application, you have to make sure that the API keys are not deployed on GitHub or any public platform. And the third is, if there's any rate limiting, or you need to implement that, if somebody comes on your app and they refresh or call the API hundreds of times, then you might be charged a lot more than you need. So you have to be careful when you're using public data or something that comes from external source. So this is one hack to use these APIs. Give it a try if you want to try yourself. Otherwise, check out the detailed example later on, and you can simply go to Windsurf cursor that I showed you, and you can check out. You can just keep typing that, okay, integrate this API, store this in a environment file, make sure that it's secure. Again, everything can be done with prompting. Secondly, you also have AI APIs now. Everything can be done with APIs. So for example, you want to make a thumbnail generator, you literally need to call an AI API. You can use this. So if you go to the API, you will see that they give you a replicate token. You need to install replicate, and then you basically write this code, and you see that we are basically running the model. Even if you don't understand coding, you can just think of this as calling this model, and you will get an output. So output will have the new image. So you basically can use machine learning, AI, anything on this planet inside your applications through APIs. So lots and lots of products that you see these days, pretty much every product that you see on the market is, a mix of APIs, a mix of, CRUD obviously needs a database, a read update, all that, but mix of APIs, and then different sort of features. So it could be a chat agent, as you can see. It could be magic links, or it could be AI agents. All these things, AI agents are a little bit different, but overall you will see that a lot of these products are a combination of APIs, CRUD, different libraries, specific features, and all these different things. So yeah, make sure that you are familiar with APIs, you know how to use them, call them. And even if you want to understand the code is very, very easy. And you can see, let me show you that, if you're using Node.js, which you probably are, you will see that there's a await keyword here, and then whenever we call this await, the function has to be async. So await is basically that we are waiting for this to complete. Once this is complete, we will have output, and while this is completing, we will show a loading screen. So again, very, very easy, nothing too crazy over here. We just import a few things, and boom, we have this. So let's if you go to superthumbnail.com that we created, that you can make thumbnails. Again, all of this can be wipe coded easily. You have generate AI ads, and you will see that a lot of these companies are using these models behind the scenes. So you don't need to be a coding genius to understand this. And yeah, a lot of this will be done with prompts, as we will see in the. Now let's talk about Stripe, which is the payment integration. So you can simply start by saying integrate Stripe in my Next.js app or my SaaS or whatever, and it will show you how to integrate Stripe. But Stripe is basically for integrating payments. So you need payments in order to complete a SaaS. So let me log in into Stripe, and let me show you basically how this works. And we're not gonna dive into all this coding, like what are webhooks or what are all those things, but I can just show you a basic structure where it's how it's built behind the scenes. So let me see if I have anything in TL Draw for Stripe, and I don't, I think. So I will have to draw it one more time. But overall, it's not that hard to understand how Stripe works. Let me check Excali draw one more time, And oh, I have it here. So yeah, let's go through this. So basically, Stripe or anything that you want to listen to all the time is a is going to happen through a webhook. So how you can understand this is, let's say a user logs in into your app, then you want the user to pay for something. So you always want to check the status of the payment. You want to see, okay, has the user paid? Yes, you give him some credits. If the user hasn't paid, then you want to check the status. Did the payment fail, or did the user run away? And then you want to add some marketing funnels into there. That's for future. But overall, things happen with the webhook. Stripe will return you a payment intent. Payment intent basically will mean that you listen to that payment intent and you see, okay, if it is a success, then you move forward within your app. So you authenticate the user, or you give them features, or you give them credits, or you give them a digital guide, anything that you want after the payment. And you can protect all these pages with payments. So you can have multiple different pages that are protected. So for example, Byte Go is a very simple example of this. They show three pages once you are not a paid member. Once you buy the plan for 50, 60, 70, 80 member dollars, what happens is that all the other pages open. So the user has to be logged in. So once the user logs in, we check the status. Okay, the user is a paid user. And then we open the pages. So there's a very simple example. Second example is something like Gumroad. So you can say, let me see, coding with AI, let's say, or Gumroad, is a very simple. So this is a digital product. So let's say you add $5. We complete the payment, right? We complete the payment, and what happens? Once we complete the payment, we check, okay, is the payment completed, and then we start our email flow. So we want to send an email to the user that, okay, this is your digital guide, or we want to refresh the page, we want to show a different page, all sorts of different things that can happen. So you get a payment intent which has success, failure, etc. You can also have a simple payment form. You don't need to do all these insane webhook calls or whatever, if you just have a single product, let's say. But if you have a credit system, for example, so every time a user pays, just like Bolt. So Bolt, my credits are finished. You can see that once I log in, they will show that I have uh, how many credits do I have. So let's see. Let me see my subscription. Okay, you see how I have 850 tokens left. So 850 tokens are stored somewhere, right? So 850 tokens are stored with my user in the database. Once I start prompting, these tokens will subtract after every prompt. And once they go zero, I will see a pop-up of purchasing. What happens when I purchase? The Stripe webhook is called. Once the payment is successful based on the different plans, so we have four plans, the credits will be added automatically. So that's a very nice thing. Now what is happening, it's a little bit more complicated. Now there's a monthly plan also, right? So you can buy, there are two plans basically. Or now people have multiple different plans. So they have a monthly plan where you can get 26 million tokens, but if you also want to buy additional tokens, then they have a one time charge. So different kinds of combinations you can make with Stripe. So it is a little bit more complicated than most people think, but you obviously need a Stripe business account first. You need all these things, and once you are done with that, let me show you how the Stripe webhook basically will look. But again, good news is that we don't need to learn everything in the Stripe ecosystem. Why? Because Bolt.new has a very nice integration with Stripe. So what you can do is you can go to Stripe, and okay, I've hit the rate limit, but you can go to Stripe and you can add your API again. It will literally do everything that you want it to do. So that is part one. Part two is you have to be careful when you're integrating Stripe that you already have Supabase. So because we want the user auth to merge with the payments very seamlessly. We don't want that the user is not there, or when the user has logged in, we are not able to check properly. So the user and payments have to go hand in hand. Unless it's a one time product, then it doesn't really matter. You can just assign the user and then go from there. So that is mainly the flow. So yeah, this is a brief introduction in Stripe webhook. You can do this with Windsurf, you can do this with Cursor, Bolt, Lovable, whatever it is. and it is not going to be that hard. And these are just steps inside code how it works. So first we go to Stripe dashboard, we turn the webhook on, then we set up the payment intent inside Next.js inside the app. So basically a webhook call which will always listen. Then we have a form, some sort of form. So it could be a checkout page, custom form, all these things where we will take the payment details. Once the payment is done, we will update the subscription or credits or one-time payment, all those things in the database. We will make them a paid user, or do whatever sort of calculations you have to do. Then we will email them. It could be a receipt, invoice, all those things. Some things happen through Stripe. Some things you have to send, like let's say you want to send a digital product, you can do it. And then you can also have a customer portal where the customer can cancel a subscription, so that can also happen. So you always will see that these companies will have, let's say, my subscription, and I'm just on a free subscription, but if you upgrade to pro, it will show that this is a subscription. And then finally is that you change everything about that user in the app. So access controls, features, credits, all those things which are happening along with the database updation. So yeah, this is a brief introduction of Stripe, and we'll be going over some detailed examples in the future, and we'll build extensive applications where Stripe is used. So yeah, keep watching. So let's check out different ways that you can add Stripe to your application. I was having some problems, but I'm going to show you 5 different types of payments that you can have for your SaaS. First is single product digital page. You can simply go to uh, Stripe developers. This is a test account, but you will need a proper business verification, and then you can check out. There's a whole Stripe dashboard where you will be taking payments. First is that you have different sort of tabs that we can go through. So customers, product catalog. We just made a new test product. You can make any product. So let's say we say ebook, and we say this is an ebook. And for payment, you can just say one off $25, or you can say recurring, which is add this product. And then what you can also do is you can have payment links. Payment link basically means a simple page that you can offer, you can send to your client. So if you have an agency business, service business, all these things, you can have other products here. You see the person will be able to pay for both of them. So this will be a payment page that you directly send to somebody, and they will be able to purchase it. So once we create, you will get a link for this. You copy the link, you go to this page, you will see this is a checkout page. You will get the ebook, and you can pay with Amazon Pay, all these different things. So once our business verification is done, you will be able to take payments. Second thing is, once you have these, you can also have a buy button which is embedded. You can have different payment methods. You can have all these different events that you can see. There are logs will come once the customers are starting to pay for this product. You will see if there's a success, failure, all these things. Secondly, you can see analytics once your business account is done, and if you want to share a QR code, you want to change it, all these things are present over here. This is a payment link page. Let's go to Bolt. So Bolt has a beautiful integration over here. Once you integrate with your API key, where do you find the API key? You can just search here. You have a search bar. You just go to API. You find the API key, and then you click on secret key. This is obviously my test account, so it doesn't matter. And you paste it here. It will fetch your products automatically. So once it fetches, you can apply selection. And once you apply selection, Bolt will go and make a simple dashboard, a landing page with that ebook. And once they purchase the ebook, we will send the ebook. So again, this is a very simple example. I've shown you two things. First is that you have a checkout page that you can send to a customer. You can click, send it to customer, and say, okay, hey man, just pay here. You can add multiple products. Second is that you have a single landing page where you just have a digital product. And similarly, what you can also do is, let's say you make another product. Let's go to product catalog and make uh community access. Okay, we say community access, and now instead of one off, we say recurring 19 or $29 per month. And instead of monthly, you can also do daily or weekly. So let's say you want to take every 3 months. Let's say you want to take weekly, so you could do weekly. $5 a week. So these are new things that are coming in the market. Once you are done, and let's add the product, and you will see this is a per month. So once you click on this, you can again create a new payment link. You can add a product over here. You can add all these different things, include a free trial, whatever, and you can start selling your business by just this one single page. You can literally uh, customize the after thing too. So you can replace a default message, you don't have to show a confirmation, all these things. So if you're selling through Instagram stories or whatever, just use this page. Say, okay, this is the last chance to fill this, and somebody opens this, they see this page, they enter their email ID, boom, in one click you have the payment, and you're good to go, and you're making money. So these are different ways to do it. But now let's say you have this subscription method inside your app. Now you want to have different pages, different features for these community members, so you need to hold on to a lot of features. Now let's say you want to show courses who are part of community, you want to show live classes, all these. So you want to make a course builder. Then what you will have to do is you will have to start listening to the payment link. You will need to create a webhook. Once you create a webhook, you will see, okay, somebody has paid for $29. Once they have paid, you will update the user as a paid user. Once you have updated the paid user, you will change all the features for them. So it is a 3 4 5 step process. It's not that hard. But let's go to Bolt, and we will need a Supabase connection because we will have to store people inside it. So once we have a Superbase connection, we will be able to see, okay, something is happening. But yeah, you see how it has created all the checkout pages, whatever. So it is just about prompting. Once you prompt saying, okay, we have a new product which is $29 per month, create a community page where only people who have paid are allowed in the app. It will create a auth payment, it will create a webhook payment, it will create everything, and it will tell you exactly where to go. So let's say if we go to webhook, you will see that all these webhooks are the different this is a complete dashboard where you will see all the events, logs, what happened. So this was the event, right? We created a payment link, we updated the product, we price was created, plan was created, all these different things happened depending on when happened. Logs are, okay, if somebody paid, somebody did, prices, payment, prices, whatever, blah blah blah. This happened at 3 a.m. We fetched the product. Who fetched this product? Bolt called this API, and they fetch all the products for us. So again, these are different things that are offered in the Stripe. So we will have to create a webhook destination. Once you have this, you can also test this locally, and once you have tested this locally, you can deploy it. So again, it's not that hard, but it is a step by step process. So this was again a brief introduction. Once we build a complete product, you will be able to see that, yeah, we just need one webhook, we need to provide the URL for that. This will do everything for us. Bolt will do everything A to Z, so we don't need to worry about a lot of things. And yeah, so let's finish the Stripe example. I have V0 and Bolt both open, and this is going to be a very nice homework for you. You go to V0 and Bolt, do the steps that I've told you, add the Stripe API, and the last part is just to add the Stripe webhook secret. So go to Stripe dashboard, you can search webhook, and you just create webhook. I just created a new webhook. Webhook is basically a very basic understanding of that it is listening all the time. So if you go to Grok or ChatGPT, okay, you can say explain me webhook and give me a simple example. It will explain your webhook. So it is basically sending real-time data, and you have to listen to a webhook all the time. You basically have to listen to Stripe payments all the time. How will you know if a customer has paid? You need a system where you're always 24/7 listening to the events if a customer has failed, succeeded. So how do you connect that? Stripe is a standalone system, you need some way to connect. So this is a webhook. You need an endpoint for webhook, and then you just need, once you go in the endpoint, you will see a signing secret. So just put the secret over here, put the secret in bold, and you have connected the whole ecosystem in this. So you have connected Stripe and you have products. Then you just have to add your Stripe secret key, and it will pull different products based on that. It already created a single page. You can create community, you can add credits, you can do anything. So now let's say you want to add one more thing, which is that you want an AI credit system that I told you. So last one is credit based, $10 for 20 credits. What you have is, let's say we use replicate API. So replicate is a dashboard or a website where you can find AI models. You can make anything on the planet these days, anything on the planet. So let's go on replicate. You can see, okay, these are my recent, but if how do we explore video models? So let's say fine tuning flux, customize flux one dev with fast flux trainer, Google VO3. So you want to make text to video. This costs $75, 75 cents per second of video, which means 75 cents per second, almost $1 per second. So 1 minute video will cost $60. What happens here is this has lip syncing everything, but you can run this with an API. I explained API for you, right? Run this API, export this token, have this npm install, and then you just add some code. And so here, if I show you the v0 example, you just add the replicate API token over here. This is the replicate API token. Just copy this, paste it in v0, and then you have that. Now what you have to prompt, okay, I want to give a new user 10 credits for free, and then I want to add a product in which we charge $10 for 20 credits. Now what you will do, you will go to Stripe, you will make a new product, you will add the webhook ID, webhook secret, you will add the product secret, everything, and then v0 will connect to it, Bolt will connect to it. This is a homework. Do 3-4 examples, you will easily be able to build all of this. And I am promising you, you will have a very fun time. This is a very exciting thing. And finally, just publish on Vercel directly from v0, or if you are on Bolt, you can either publish through GitHub or you can download and push to GitHub. Easier ways to just integrate this with GitHub. And once you are done on GitHub, just go to vercel.com and add your application. Very, very easy. There's a domain system in Vercel that you can add your domain. Everything is done. You have made a complete SaaS application. You have deployed a SaaS application. There's nothing faster and easier that you can do in 2025. So make sure that you are practicing now as much